Surrounded by. I am surrounded by.
I'm often surrounded by.
The entire system is surrounded by
Freaking idiots.
Surrounded by them.
idiots.
Oh, we're going.
Oh, yo, we're about to go. We're about to go. You ready?
All right, let's go.
Our guest today is known for his films Thriller, which I was fortunate to be a part of, Welcome to Sudden Death with Michael J. White, and Rebel, produced with the late great John Singleton. His latest film, The System, features Tyrese Gibson, Terrence Howard, Jeremy Piven, and Lil Yachty. Welcome to the show, Dallas Jackson.
Yo, this is crazy.
How you feeling, brother?
I was telling you, man, I watched the show and I like the vibe.
Thank
and
you,
here
man.
we are.
Thank you, brother.
I'm
Thank you so
good,
much.
man. It's good to see you doing your thing.
Man, it's an honor to have you, brother.
I appreciate it. And you know, Thriller doesn't seem like, I think it's like 6 years ago now, something
Yeah.
crazy, 7.
It's crazy. It doesn't feel like that long ago, though.
It doesn't feel like that long ago, but we had a good time making that movie.
Hell yeah.
And you know, it did so much for me, and I'm just happy to see the stars of the movie still doing their thing. You guys are killing it.
Thank you,
Jessica,
brother.
Luke, yourself,
Yeah, hell yeah.
Chelsea. You know, it's
Thank
this
you,
crazy Paige.
Yeah.
Uh,
You put a hell of a cast together, man.
Peppy,
Yeah.
bro.
Everybody working.
Everybody working.
I'll
So
bring that a little bit closer to you. Sorry.
yeah,
Yeah.
everybody's working. So cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You are.
Um,
That thing, people are always so scared. I'm like, no, it's cool. You can move it around. You can,
yeah, copy that.
because you know how sometimes you go to some people's places, you just,
Yeah,
shit
I just don't want to fuck up your technology.
Nah, you good, bro.
Okay. Yeah, man. So, you know, that was a great experience,
Yeah.
and it's good to see y'all doing your thing. And yeah, man, it's good to be here, bro.
Thank you, brother.
This is a nice thing you got going.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
I like the Black Joe Rogan vibes we going
Hey,
with.
yeah,
Yeah.
we need it in the space, bro.
We do.
We need people who are talking about more than just gossip like that. That's fun every once in a while. It's fun to throw, but what do they say? It's what you consume is what you become. Who you hang around is who you're gonna be.
Copy.
So it's,
that is true.
if you're intaking, entertainment's one thing. Entertainment's fun,
Mhm.
but if that's all you're intaking consistently,
Mhm.
and it's only one type of content, and I don't think we have enough people enough people who look like us,
Yes.
who are doing content that's a little bit elevated. Like, that's what I even love about even like Club Shay Shay. I noticed like he's starting to try to like do certain episodes to get it's not as fantastical.
Yeah.
He's obviously the Cat Williams was quite fantastical.
Yeah.
But I do think, he's the closest thing I've seen to just cool, chill conversation though in our space.
Yeah. I mean, look.
Without hijinks. Like the guest brings the hijinks,
Yeah.
opposed to him really bringing them. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
we need room for a lot of different voices.
Yeah.
And especially since this is a new space, new technology, new ways to monetize,
Yeah.
we have to be brave with what we're stepping out with and also be different.
100%.
And so, yeah, I mean, look, God love everybody, Drink Champs, Club Shay Shay, whatever. You ain't got no brown liquor for me, bro.
I love Drink Champs. Drink Champs is very entertaining. That's
yes,
what I got to
it's
get.
super entertaining.
Super entertaining.
But there's room for elevated thought. There's room
Yeah.
for people to talk about stories, the genre space, everyday life, everything. So I think that's kind of what's cool. And in your space is you're doing that, and we're talking about a lot of different things. So
Thank you,
I'm here, man.
No, thank you for you are an anomaly. I've always been impressed with how you are able to make so many things happen and all the things you've been able to literally produce. Like, that is not, we don't, as you know, I don't have to tell you, we don't see a lot of brothers in that space who really can get it off the ground in the way that you have. So I wanted to sit here, pick your brain.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get started? Where did the love come from?
Mm-hmm. The love. Excuse me, I gotta stay caffeinated.
Brought to you by Starbucks.
Thank you. Let's get that sponsorship cracking. I think for me, man, the early love came from just watching movies and TV when I was a kid.
Right.
You know, my mom used to call me the TV guy. Like, I could tell her what was on Sunday at 6:00. It's usually the 60 Minutes or the Jeffersons.
Yeah.
You know, I could tell her what was coming on Thursday at 7, Knight Rider, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and then I got to a point where, as like a 10, 11-year-old, I would go to the movies by myself. You know, and my parents weren't tripping. You know, they were. I mean, it's crazy now because I got kids, and I can't imagine letting my son just go rock out to a movie, catch the bus by himself and come back. But that was me at 10, 11. By the time I was 12, 13, I was riding my bike to the movies, lock up my bike, go in there, watch Scanners or Phantasm or Young Sherlock Holmes or Raiders of the Lost Ark, whatever. Terminator. I was going to see all this stuff by myself. And
where is this?
This is Denver, Colorado.
Denver, okay.
I grew up in Denver.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, Denver was an interesting place to grow up. It was diverse. People don't know that. You know, all my aunties and uncles and everything is there. So, but I got an opportunity to have a certain amount of freedom as a kid because my parents both worked. They, you know, right. they were 9 to 6ers, 9 to 7ers.
Right.
So, you know, also we grew up in the age of the video store. Mm-hmm. You know, I would go. And then now you can walk 5 blocks, get you 3-4 movies, Faces of Death, Flash Gordon,
yeah,
you know, Breaking 2, whatever. Come home, watch, binge. That's the early binge, popping into VHS and watch movies, man. Heavy Metal was one of my favorites. It's animated anthology. Used to watch that all the time. Last Dragon, all these things that I grew up with. So by the time I was, my father took me to see Hollywood Shuffle.
Okay.
And that, to me, turned the corner because I read in a magazine about Robert Townsend, probably read it in Ebony or Jet, about him making this movie for 35 G's with credit cards, which was like, what? You know, and I was a kid, so I didn't even really know what that meant. And then my father took me to go see the movie. It's playing at one theater in Denver at the Ogden Theater. And I was like, that I want to do that. You know, he wrote it, he directed it, he starred in it. And I think shortly thereafter that, also in that movie, I saw my pops laugh. I didn't really see my pops laugh a lot in real life.
Okay.
You know, he was a brother that, I mean, my pops wasn't mean or dead serious, but he didn't really laugh a lot. You know, he might, you know, a little bit, maybe. But not really.
Different era, man.
Yeah,
man. Strong brothers, man. I know.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I saw my pops laugh in Hollywood Shuffle. I was like, I want to do that. Gonna make my pops laugh, you know. So I think that unlocked a blueprint for me. And then later on, I saw She's Gotta Have It.
Right.
I rented that. School Days. So Spike Lee kicked in there. I was in high school, early high school days, and In a Different World came on. So I was like, I want to go to a black college. You know, I want to make movies. All these influences on top of me already loving the culture of movies and TV. So I went to Howard because, you know,
it's the mecca of black schools.
Yeah, man. I applied to 3 schools. I got applied to Howard, University of Colorado, and I think USC and Morehouse. And one of my pop's friends went to Howard, and he was like, he should go there. So I went to Howard, and that's when I got on the mission of I want to write and direct, and that's that. They had classes there for that.
That's dope.
And I got a whole nother culture. I was from Denver. So when I went to Howard, I got an East Coast culture, you know, go-go music, you know, different kinds of music I never heard of, different flavors, New Yorkers, LA people, Midwest people, down South, all these cultures. And so, but the one thing I realized was that, because I used to think, I was the black kid in high school in AP classes. You know, I was that 1 or 2 black kid in the high school in AP courses. So I was thinking I was some weird anomaly.
Anomaly. Yeah.
Thank you. We're gonna get that word right. And when I got to Howard, I was like, oh, there's a whole bunch of kids
Mm.
was that one black kid in the white class.
Right.
There's a whole bunch of us.
Yeah, and we're talking pre-internet days, so it's not pre-internet, but it's not like it's prevalent. So you're just seeing other people like you all the time. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. There wasn't Instagram or Facebook, if that's making us sound old. So when I got to Howard, it felt like an inclusive culture of kids like me, just from different states and all that. And I took a screenwriting class, and the professor was like, you should continue this. This is good. Right. So I moved to LA after that to pursue the art of screenwriting. Wow. And also, I was doing stand-up. I left that out.
Oh, but you used to do stand-up?
I did stand-up in high school.
Wow, that's dope.
Yeah, I won this Canadian Miss Comedy Search my senior year.
Okay.
And I was like, there was a moment I was like, I'm not going to college. I'm going to go to LA and do stand-up. Right. And my mom and dad were like, nah, Negro, you going to college. So, and I did do stand-up in DC every once in a while. Mm-hmm. But when I would go out and do it, one night I went out and D.L. Hughley was before me. This is like open mics.
Wow.
I went out another night and Chappelle was out. And I was like, these cats weren't, who they were yet.
No, but you were just like,
but I was like, yo, they different. I'm gonna stick to college in this writing thing.
That's funny.
This is another kind of pursuit of comedianship I'm not ready for.
Well, there's nothing to show you that than being after, in any era, a D.L. Hughley or a Dave Chappelle.
Yeah. Or just even being right there and seeing them. Mm-hmm. And then like 7 or 8 years later, you're like, yeah, I was right.
Yeah.
Them cats was on some. I'm glad I stuck to what I was doing. So yeah, man. So I moved to LA and I got a job. It took me a minute, but I got a job at a movie studio at Savoy Pictures.
Okay.
Savoy was doing like Thin Line Between Love and Hate with Martin Lawrence. Thin Line Between Love and Hate. They did Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde or Mrs. Hyde. It was some bad movies. They did Tales from the Hood.
Okay. Oh, so it's a black movie studio.
It was a white studio, but they was doing some black movies. They was doing some bad white movies too. They did Circle of Friends, which I think was Chris O'Donnell's first movie.
Chris O'Donnell.
The cat that's on the LL Cool J show now. Yeah.
He was Robin.
Yeah, he was Robin.
Yeah, Chris O'Donnell.
Yeah, so the thing about working there was I was the black kid in the mailroom. The lady that hired me, her name was Pat Espermonte. She was head of HR. She's like, we got a couple of Howard people here. You guys are working out. So would you like a job? I was like, yeah, I went to school for this. I would love it. You want to start in the mailroom? Put me in the game, coach. I'll take whatever job you got. And when I was in that mailroom, I saw all the scripts. I saw all the contracts for talent. I saw physical production breakdowns. I saw all these things at a studio that I was privy to because I was in the mailroom and I had to photocopy it. If they bought a script, I had to photocopy it. Because we're dating ourselves, but this is when people physically photocopy scripts and gave them to executives. You just didn't email the script to an executive. And everybody would take that script home, read it over the weekend, and decide if they were going to buy it. And I would see them buy scripts for 50 G's, 100 G's. And I think the turning point for me was, because I was already writing, is they bought this script from Bobby Brown. And come to find out, they were making this movie. And Bobby Brown had juice at the time. This is Bobby Brown, the R&B singer. Yeah. I guess he had finessed the idea of, y'all buy my script and I'll be in this movie. And I read the script over the weekend because I had to pass it out again to the executives. I was literally the cat that had the mailroom cart.
That's what I'm imagining.
I had a cart, bro. I had to give out varieties and Hollywood Reporters, put it on the desk. And on top of that, if it said classified, I go to the bathroom, read it real quick. Oh, this is mean. Oh, they're going to fire this cat. Okay, let me put this back up in here. And I also handed out the script. So I read this Bobby Brown script. I was like, bro.
Hell no.
I was like, bro. They didn't have spell check or nothing back then. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So this is Bobby's man's really just trying to piece something together.
Man, they had some cigarette burn marks on like page 28. Like he just put the blunt out on the page, whatever. And they bought it. They gave him 100 G's. I called my homeboy who I went to Howard with, and he was in the junior executive program at CBS. My boy Ken Rance, my first writing partner, and my only writing partner, but my first writing partner. We wrote a script because I was like, bro,
Yeah,
they just paid Bobby 6 figures, and we went to college for this.
right.
Let's get together. Let's crank out an idea. Let's write a script. And we were being hell of ambitious and hell of naive that let's write the script. Let's go sell it. Okay, boom. Let's go do that. All right.
Yeah.
So we got together over a course of 6 weeks in between me in the mailroom, him and his junior CBS executive training program. And we wrote this script, Scary Dates. And it was basically, Boomerang meets Tales from the Crypt. It was a black dating movie with like a horror vibe to it. And at that time, Boomerang and Waiting to Excel and what else? Booty Call, all these kind of black romantic comedies were doing good. The Wood, Love Jones.
We had a strong era of those, man.
Bro, that was a nice run of those.
Man, and it's just sad, not to cut you up, but it's just sad to see how it really it's not the same. It really stopped at one point. And now through streaming, we're starting to get a little bit of it back.
Mm-hmm.
But man, like even as you were telling the story leading up to this, I'm just listening. I'm like, oh yeah, the filmmakers, the black filmmakers you grew up with.
Right.
Like,
with influences.
Yeah.
Keenan
and making
Ivory
good
Wayans.
stuff. Making great stuff.
Yeah, Keenan. He gave another blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
There was cats like Matty Rich who would he made a movie straight out of Brooklyn, and it was like he followed the Robert Townsend blueprint and made his movie for like 15 G's and got a distribution deal from that. Wow. So there were these cats that Singleton, that you could just look at and go, man, they look like me. This is a possibility of a dream.
Feasible.
If you see a doctor that looks like you could be a doctor. That was something with the Cosby Show, Dr. Huxtable.
Facts.
That made a whole generation of black doctors. And he
lawyers.
wasn't even a real doctor. He was playing a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But when you have somebody you can see that looks like you doing it, which is why Obama's so important. That just takes the lid off of everything. Oh, we can be anything.
Right.
So we had these filmmakers we could look at, and when me and my writing partner decided to get together and write this romantic comedy with like a horror spin, there were things we could point to and just say, how can we do to make ours a little different, but still in that same vein? Waiting to Excel, all these movies, just soul food.
Right.
You're like, these things is making money. Mm-hmm. And we wrote this script called Scary Dates. We went to an agent, Walter Morgan, who was a brother who was like one of the only brothers in town at that time who was a literary agent. Now there's a lot of black literary agents. Well, not a lot, but there's more than the one or two that was like, you could count on one hand. And he liked the script. And he was like, yo, I'm gonna hook y'all up. Y'all need a manager. And he hooked us up with this cat, Topper Carew. And Topper was managing Martin Lawrence at the time. He had created Martin's Show. If you look at the beginning of Martin's Show, it says created by Martin Lawrence and Topper Carew. So we were like, okay, Topper co-produced DC Cab or something. We was tripping off of that. So he came in, helped us punch up the script. He was talking about getting Martin for it, but that didn't come to pass. But they shopped it, and we had this executive Lori Lakin, who was a sister at Fox, who was in charge of like Soul Food and Waiting to Excel and these other movies that got made. And she bought it. And I quit that mailroom.
I know you did.
Yeah.
Damn, that's awesome.
And that started us on a journey as legit writers. And, the WGA came at us like, yo, y'all got to join or you can't do this studio work, which is different now because I think the WGA, you got to do a few things before you can get in.
Oh, okay.
But you can't do studio work if you're not WGA, so it's tricky. It's a weird thing. But we sold that script. We had to join the union. We did some revisions for the studio, but then started taking meetings, and people were like, "What else do you have?
Yeah.
You know, what's next?" And so me and my writing partner like, "Yo, we gotta write another one. Let's write it. At that time, Bad Boys had came out. We were like 22, bro. We had no idea what we're doing. Bad Boys came out, blew up. We're like, yo, let's write an action comedy.
We need it.
We need to, let's get on that train. Let's get on this Lethal Weapon train.
Right.
You know, let's get on this 48 Hours train, you know.
And the fact that you have been in this mailroom and you've seen, you know what they're buying.
Mm-hmm.
And not only, you know what's going at the box office, but you also know what they're buying. So you're like,
I know what they're buying. And what's crazy is, because I grew up on movies and watching them and renting them and going to the library and watching things that I had never seen before that you could watch at the library, whatever. I can talk movies all day long with the best of them.
I feel you.
So when I get in these rooms with these executives and they're talking about, well, we should make this like Mean Streets, or you remember Streets of Fire? I'm like, yeah, Michael T. Williams was on stage singing in the whatever. I could talk about this stuff.
Right.
And so I think that's part of when you aspire to do something, you got to study the greats. You got to study the craft
100%.
before you even take an attempt at it. And unbeknownst to me, I was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we wrote this action comedy. I said I went to Howard, became friends with Marlon Wayans at Howard.
Oh, okay.
He left freshman year to go do Mo Money, but we always stayed in contact. And when me and my roommate, we wrote this movie about two repo men two car thieves turned repo men. It's called Repros. And they got to find this Ferrari. They get hired to repo this car, and it's the repo from hell. It gets towed. Right. Gangs are after it. The police are after it. Find out there's like a gang of diamonds, or I forgot what it was in the car.
Yeah.
But we sold that to Fox again, and we attached Marlon. I attached Marlon.
Okay.
And we sold it to Fox. It was going to be Marlon Wayans and Ice Cube. And
it's funny you said that, because I'm like, that kind of sounds like All About the Benjamins, but it's...
We might have got jacked a little, maybe.
Because it just sounds parallel, because I was like, Ice Cube, Marlon Wayans and Ice Cube. I could definitely see that, yeah.
Yeah, and that was... that's when Marlon was coming off a Scary Movie in the Wayans Brothers. Right. And Cube was coming off of Friday or whatever, and Cube had done Barbershop or something like that. And so Cube was hot, you know.
Yeah.
But I think after that, I sold about 2 more scripts with my writing partner. Then he decided he wanted to write more romantic comedies. I wanted to write horror movies and sci-fi stuff. And we just decided we were gonna do our own thing.
Right.
And that was grad school for me, learning to write on my own, learning to take meetings on my own. I had to get my own rep.
Right.
And I met Master P, and for me that was he had heard about me writing scripts and selling them. Holly Carter, who was managing him and Romeo at the time, met me and was like, I know you can write. She had me write this Western for Bone Thugs.
Okay.
Called Ghetto Cowboys.
Wow, that's great.
And then she was like, hook up with P. I hooked up with P. He's like, I'm about to blow my son up, Romeo. I know you can write something for he and I. And I was working on this kind of ET idea. So I started working on that for Romeo, and Universal bought that for a gang of money. But what P didn't understand was like development. When you sell a script to a studio, they go through drafts. It's called development.
Right.
Doesn't mean it's going to get made. So P was like, write something for me and my son that I can make.
I could make happen tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I pitched him the idea of this Uncle Buck, Mr. Mom, Bernie Mac show thing with him. And he was like, write it. And by the way, I want you to write a sequel to About It, which was his movie About It that he made a lot of money on video. So I wrote Still About It, and I wrote this movie Uncle P at the same time. And he gave me, 70 G's for both scripts. So he gave me 70 G's each script.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, P was balling.
He was getting to it.
Yeah. And so that made me go to work Like he gave me 150. Let me stick to what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And I finished both scripts in 6 weeks, and we were shooting 4 weeks later.
Oh, yeah.
Both of them back to back.
I believe it.
Still About It. He was getting a little wild with that. And he would call somebody, tell Mike Epps to come down and do something or whatever. So it was crazy. So I was like, he had like these pit bulls it was wild. So I was like, I'm not going to put my name on that. I'm going to put Skinny D on that. Because he was just shooting shit to add in. He had some pimp scene with Cat. No, it was wild. He would just call people up. So I was like, I'm not going to put my name on Skinny D, which was what people called me in high school and college.
That was our secret name for Thriller.
That was our secret name for Thriller. That was the production name. Skinny D wrote Still About It. Dallas wrote Uncle P.
Okay.
And while we were shooting Uncle P, that was masterclass for me. Getting to watch a movie get made.
Right.
Getting to see on set my words come to life. As crazy as it was a fun family comedy. Wasn't like something that I had taken the time over a year or two to write. It was something I banged out in 8 weeks.
Right.
But I was proud of it.
Yeah.
And it was a wholesome movie.
You saw it to fruition. You saw, and like literally.
Yeah, and P gave me access.
Right.
That's the thing that I never had, as access to see a movie get made that was mine. I mean, I never got a movie made that was mine anyway.
Right.
So I remember the first day we were shooting, P called me and was like, "Where you at?" I was like, "I'm at home." He's like, "Nigga, we shooting."
We shooting. We need you here.
I was like, "Oh, my bad. I gave you the scripts. I thought it was done." He's like, "Nah, I'm making you a producer on this. You come down here." So I came to set. I thought I was gonna get Suge Knighted.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Bro, there's your seat." I had a chair, my name on it.
Wow.
We making a movie, and I was like, "Damn, we are." Right. The trucks, everything.
That's when that producer hat.
It kicked in because I got to see, and if a problem came up, or somebody was saying we got fined for a truck permit or whatever, I saw P dig in his pocket and pay for it. We got Cheech Marin to come for like a day and do like a cameo. I seen P pull off to the side, peel Cheech off 50 G's or whatever, and that's how it made out. I said, "Oh, so that's how you just cake them off real quick, and they'll come be in your movie." He signed a paper, copy that. Cheech was there for 2-3 days, and he was cool.
Right.
So I got to see up close how to get a movie made, and from there, the super light bulb went off. Oh, not only is this possible, I know how to do it.
Right.
So when I met Singleton a couple years later, I could have a conversation about how to get something not only written and sold, but how to get it made.
Right.
That was that, and I know we just went on a long journey, but that's what led me up to the point of meeting you prior to us getting Thriller made, was that journey of being a student, unbeknownst to me, just movies, and then going to learn the craft, and then being experienced in the craft by being given access to the business of the craft.
100%. And it sounds like, in the same thing it's been for me in my career, it seems like in each phase of it, you were, like you said, you were able to see someone like you doing it.
Absolutely.
And even in my career, that's always why I've been able to, because that's how that, fortunately, I'm in the room to see, and then work with that's how that's done. And then the wheels start turning. Right. And start going, wait, so that's how you get that. Because before you think of half these things logistically, they just seem like crazy things to ask for. You know what I mean? It's like, yes. I want to get Bruce Willis at a certain time in my movie. That sounds kind of crazy if you're not thinking logistically. Like, well, what's his quote?
Yeah.
Do I have that?
Yeah.
What will he show up for a couple hours?
Yeah.
Can we get that in cash?
All of that is in a realm of possibility.
100%.
Also, too, I think that you got to see it from an age of you're soaking it up. You're on the wire. Mm-hmm. The production quality is out of control, meaning like they spending money on the budget.
Yeah.
You're getting to see top-notch actors work.
Yeah.
You're getting to see top-notch directors and TV showrunners do their thing. So it probably demystified it for you at a super young age.
To an extent. The only reason I'll say no is because you got to remember, it's not like my parents or anybody worked in this industry. So other than keeping me protected and me being on my job, you don't really think past especially at a young age, you're not thinking, what's that guy do? How much does it cost to have lighting here? How much does it cost to have blah, blah, blah here? How did they get these? What's Crafty doing? You don't think about all those things. Like I didn't start thinking about that stuff really until when I started doing music videos. And then obviously once the music videos led me to starting to do this and everything else. But when I started doing music videos, that was the first time it's like, okay, I want to do like one of the ideas I had. I was like, I want to do like the old school Cameron where he's in the pink coat with the. Yeah. I'm like, I want that. Yeah. But then I want to be in like Big Bear or something. Yeah. And then I want to have all these girls there, and I want them, dancing, shaking their ass, and I want to in a log cabin. Exactly. And that's when I started realizing, okay, wait. How do you get, and then I need somebody there to shoot it all. How do I make this happen? And that was the first time I had to go, okay, wait, everything from wardrobe, which is sourcing my homie, okay, he's a stylist. He got the blah, blah. He knows somebody who can make this. To, okay, let me go look what's on VRBO or Airbnb that I can rent out. And then,
let me find a log cabin.
What dates work for...
Right.
Man, and it's a lot of work, but when it comes together, it's so much more rewarding because you know how every piece got done, and you also probably were able to do it more efficiently because you're not gonna waste your money when you know how it's done.
Absolutely. That's the thing I saw with P. When he was paying for it, I was like, okay, this is coming out of his pocket. Mm-hmm. Now, on the reward side of that, when we finished the movie, he was like, you go sell it. I'm like, what? This cat was playing ball in the NBA. He was selling rims. He was like, I'm doing all this other stuff. You go sell the movie. And so I had to go, and we would have DVDs, call executives, send them the DVD of the movie. People were like, not getting it. Uncle P, he was going to put Still Bout It out on his own. He had his own distribution. But I had to go, okay, after like 3 or 4 execs, I know this movie's good. Why are people passing? Because we were sending to like Disney and whatever. Because we had execs coming to set. Like we had announced it. We announced the movie. It was starring Romeo, Cheech, Master P, Hulk Hogan did a cameo, blah, blah, blah. So we were having people come to set, like from Dimension, whatever, just tracking the movie. When we were done and we were sending it out, some of those same executives were passing, and it was like, but they said they were so interested in all this. So I learned, okay, we need to show it. This is show business.
Right.
This isn't send the DVD and you do whatever business.
Right.
So I arranged a screening, and I got some. The first screening, I just did it with executives. Mm-hmm. I heard some chuckles in the audience or whatever. It was like 3 or 4 executives, but no one bit. Mm-hmm. We still had a long list of like execs we could invite. The next screening I did, and mind you, I'm like, yo, P, can you come to these screenings? It's your movie.
Facts. It's
your money. You put me in the position to sell this movie, which is your money, getting your money back. It's very uncomfortable. Because you looking at me like, yo, I made your movie. He started calling it my movie. I made your movie. Why ain't nobody buying it? Okay. So the next screening, I was volunteering at the Boys and Girls Club. And I asked the administrator, can I invite some kids to the screening? She said, sure, we'll get the bus. They'll love it. I told P, you got to come to this one.
Right.
Nickelodeon's going to be there. This exec from Beacon Pictures, which was a company with Disney.
And a bus full of kids.
And some bus full of kids.
Yeah.
And so a couple other executives. New Line was going to be there.
Oh, okay.
So kids show up. We asked the kids to get there early just to make sure, kids get them there early, sat down. P went and bought them McDonald's and was like, y'all laugh.
See, there you go.
Right.
There you
y'all
go.
laugh. And so they got the McDonald's. Cool. Copy that. We got the assignment. And the execs were there. We had about 20 kids in the front row. And man, their heads was exploding. Off Uncle P, right? We showing them the movie. They loved it.
Right.
Every exec there, New Line, Beacon, Nickelodeon, they wanted the movie.
Of course.
So we were like, okay, monkey off my back. P, now you got to go work that out.
Right.
So he was smart. He let Nickelodeon have the TV rights. Beacon got the DVD theatrical window. I'm sorry. Beacon got the theatrical window and a licensing window. And New Line got the DVD rights because DVD was still popping. So they all worked together. He got his money back. It premiered on Nickelodeon. They offered Romeo a show from that.
Oh, that connect. Uh-huh.
Right.
Wow.
And I look like a hero, right? But I learned a whole nother thing. Now I know how to sell a movie. I know how to make it. Now I know how to sell it. And that hit the trades because Beacon signed me and P and Romeo to a 2-picture deal after that to make some more movies.
Oh, okay.
Nothing came out of it because the head of Beacon, Michael Helfont, who was mad cool, left to go run Marvel. He was like the first head of Marvel.
Okay.
But that got me a first look at 20th Century Fox.
Wow.
And while I was there with this producer, John Davis, we happened to have a meeting with Barry Gordy's son, and we start talking about remaking The Last Dragon. And come to find out, Sony was over there, and they let us come in and let me do a draft, and I got close to getting that made with Sam Jackson.
Man, that's fun.
And but that script came out really good, and we were just the victims of regime change at Sony. Charles Stone, they brought him aboard to direct. Charles Stone did Paid in Full. We was about to make that movie.
Right.
And Sony had a regime change. But that Last Dragon script for me went around town, and I met Jason Blum from that. And he had me come in, and his head of production, Cooper Samuelson, who ran Blumhouse, was like, yo, we just made this crazy movie, Get Out. We don't know what's going to happen with that. But we read your Last Dragon script, think it's great. Do you have anything, our major audience is Black and Latino, we could do in the horror space together for a budget. Can you make a movie for $1 million? And I said, yeah, I can. I come from the school of Master P. Let me tell you about this movie we made, Uncle P, for 800 G's.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, well, give us a script. And I gave them Thriller, which at the time was called Homecoming. And Get Out came out like a month later.
Yeah.
I was at the premiere with RZA. They were like, is RZA going to be involved in this movie? Homecoming? I looked at RZA. He was like, bong bong. That's his, whatever.
Yeah.
And they greenlit the movie the next week.
What? That's fire.
And they let me bring in Kim Harden, who helped me cast you in the cast. And I got to use the experience of everything. All the movies I watched, all the horror movies I watched, all the Halloweens and Faces of Death. I got to be experiencing the casting because I had been involved in the casting with Uncle P and still about it. Got to pick my cinematographer, got to pick my costume designer. Me and Singleton were making this show Rebel at the time for BET.
I remember that.
So I pulled a lot of people off of Rebel onto what became Thriller.
Wow.
So everything built into a momentum of these moments that collectively and knowledge-wise I was able to apply.
Mm-hmm.
But this all takes time, man.
It can't happen overnight.
Yeah,
There's no possible way.
No, and it's not like boom, boom, boom. These are like pockets of years.
Mm-hmm. And then there'll be some lulls in between.
There'll be some lulls in between, bro. And, you know, you have to learn how to stay creative, stay ambitious, stay hungry, but at the same time, stay dedicated to this dream in your heart.
Yeah.
You know, if there's that dream in your heart and you know it's there, don't cash in or give up because 2 years went by and nothing happened. Stay dedicated to the dream.
Yeah.
3 years went by, nothing happened. Stay with it. Keep doing these little things in between.
Yeah. Well, because what another thing people don't realize is once you stop, it's a reset, man. It's not that momentum, everything that you've been, even if it seems slow, you're still in the flow of something. Once you step out of that, things pass you by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you lose, I would say you lose focus when you stop. If you stay focused, even in the dark days, there will be a light at the end of that tunnel.
Yeah.
But if you stop, you're just stuck in that dark.
Right.
And I know a lot of cats that, you know, gave up or just didn't pursue the dream that were like dope, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't want to live in a realm of what if.
Same here.
So for me, I think COVID and the strikes that we're just coming out of, the Writers Guild strike, the SAG strike.
Yeah.
For me, I was like, man, I'm going full speed, foot on the gas with the dream, because this could all end tomorrow. And then I'll be like, damn, I didn't do this. I didn't try that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't stay focused on what was in my heart.
But bro, that's why you've done all the things that you've done. First off, it's great to hear. I didn't even know that I was a Thriller. I was fortunate to be a part of all those worlds meeting. You know
yes,
what I mean?
absolutely.
That's awesome. But yeah, man, I think it's a lock in. When COVID came, if you were creative, that was the one time I felt like you had indispensable time to just work.
Mm-hmm.
Just work. Whatever goal, whatever dream you gotta lock in, because if you don't, like, tomorrow's not promised.
Yeah, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah, and what are you doing on the other side of that?
But that's also why
it's over now. What were you doing?
Thank you.
What you got?
What you got to show for it?
For that time.
Because that time happened.
Yeah.
Regardless of how you want to feel about it, that time happened.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, man, people get so in their heads about rejection and no. What does that mean? If you let yourself get distracted or discouraged from a no, then you're letting someone else's influence on you and on your destiny.
Facts.
Let that no be fuel. Let those continuous rejections be fuel. Because if you believe in what it is you're doing, and you believe in yourself first and foremost, can't nobody take that dream away from you.
Facts.
It could be the dream to be the first porno king. Whatever it is you want to do.
Hey,
I want to be the Master P of porno movies. Man, follow that dream.
Listen, somebody did it on OnlyFans, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
I'm sure.
Absolutely. If your dream is to be a dentist who plays hip hop in his office.
Hold on. What did I do? Is that still recording?
I think so. Yeah, it's still counting down.
This guy stopped. I don't know why.
I'm on 44, 47.
Okay, yeah, I just restarted another one, so we're good.
Okay,
we're good. It just I saw it like flash. I'm like, I don't know why that happened.
All right,
okay,
you caught it.
Yeah,
we're good.
It. Yeah,
yeah. You got to stick with the dream in the dark times,
right?
In the times of the storm, and it might be a continuous storm. You will find your way out of it.
100%.
But not if you give up.
Yeah.
You're stuck in the storm. And I just refuse to be stuck in the storm because I got no choice. I've decided, what am I going to do? Go be, what am I going to do? This is what I've This is the path I'm on.
You're too far to go back.
I'm too far to go back.
Yeah.
And there was a time where things were funky. I had to downsize. Before I met Singleton, before we made Thriller, you know, I was living in Baldwin Hills and the money went dry after Last Dragon and had to move into a 1-bedroom apartment with my wife and my babies at the time. Right. And we were there for 3 years. Like, damn, you know, gunshots outside. I'm a grown man. Like, I went to Howard. What happened? But in that space, my wife wrote Rebel, which is the show that I was able to give to Singleton and we partnered on.
Right.
I wrote The System in that 1-bedroom apartment, which is the movie I would eventually do with Tyrese. And I was tweaking. I was keep putting down and picking up Homecoming, which became Thriller.
Right.
So it was like,
whoa, that's an earthquake.
Sure is. Ooh.
Wow.
It's a long one too.
This is saw an earthquake live.
Let's go. That's God talking to us.
Man.
As long as it don't get too crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're shaking things up here.
God is listening.
Man, wow. But that's pretty crazy.
By the way, since we're in the Joe Rogan realm, I'm always like, I'm paranoid now because we've been through so much.
Yeah.
We've been through so much.
Been through a lot.
As a people, as a society, as a community. So, you know, every day I'm like, what's going on today, God? We gonna, you know, let's not hit World War III yet. I'm on a stride.
Did you see Putin's interview?
No.
It was good
with
Tucker Carlson.
Yeah,
it was a good interview. Like he was very. The way he made it sound is that if someone would come to him with a peace treaty or some form of a deal for peace, he'd entertain it. That's what he basically wanted to be clear. But I mean, you know, he's also, you know, he's Putin.
He's Putin.
But it was it's like a 2-hour interview. It's very good. A lot of information.
Cause I'd be like, fuck Tucker Carlson.
You know,
fuck Tucker Carlson.
Funny? I agree. Okay, but I won't say I agree, but I completely know where you come from because I'm looking at even the things he used to do on Fox News and I kind of have decided to put him because him doing things like this, like, okay, oh shit, this is real journalism. Like this is more journalistic than any of your peers. But then, like, why, like, 2 months ago, did you have to interview the guy who claims he sucked Obama's dick? Like,
yeah,
what?
Come on, bro.
Pick a side, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
or, like, you know, I forgot the episode where he was reading the rap lyrics, and it was like, baby gonna sell crack. Baby gonna go out and break somebody's back. I'm gonna give you these back shots like it's a knot. I want to snort the cocaine off your booty hole. This is Tucker reading this
Tucker
shit.
Carlson.
And then he was saying, this is what your kids are listening to or whatever.
This is what's going on.
Yeah. You know, so it's like, fuck Tucker Carlson.
Yeah,
but
I feel you.
Look, for a long time, not to get far off into a tangent, but I've always wondered why somebody just don't go fucking sit down and break bread with Putin. You know, I'm not a Trump fan at all. So, you know, I know he had a connection, but fuck that.
But and that's even the other crazy part. There's with that whole, like, apparently that whole Twitter files thing and all that. Kind of that whole Russian collusion thing wasn't really legit on paper. Right. It's just narratives. There's so many narratives to follow and so many things it's like.
I'm just like, we bash so many countries verbally. We do so much damage military-wise.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to have to go and talk to people. You know.
It's funny the way you're right, though. Like, somebody has to just sit down and go, like, what's going on?
Yeah, we need somebody that's going to go sit down and break bread. I hate to say it with some of these people. And because to the world, we look crazy right now.
Yeah.
We doing a lot of wild shit. And what we've been doing, and it's not some current administration, whatever. We've been doing wild shit for decades.
Yeah.
And the difference now is everybody can see what's happening with a cell phone.
Yeah.
If it used to be like, oh, today America bombed Libya, and then in other news, Jackie Robinson is you wouldn't give a shit because you couldn't
wouldn't
see it. You
and
wouldn't
they're not
see
going to
it.
let that picture be in the paper.
Right.
So, yeah.
But now you open it up, America bombed Libya. Cut to Libya, somebody on the phone, and the bomb is coming
sensitive video.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. No, it's insane.
So the idea of Tucker sitting with Putin, in theory, is
It's on the right track.
interesting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it. But fuck Tucker Carlson.
Listen,
But I understand
even the
the
way he
idea
asks
of
questions is hilarious. Like some of the questions he even asked Putin, when you watch it, you're just gonna be like, man, fuck Tucker Carlson, because it's just like he asked them in such a Tucker. What I have to give him is, as a person who's been conducting interviews recently, I go, damn, you don't like. He doesn't become submissive to the person he's talking to, and you're talking to a scary motherfucker.
right who could disappear you.
Oh, disappear you easily. Already, America's probably not so hot on you being over here.
Yeah.
So if your plane goes missing, I don't think too many. Yeah. But
If you go home with that radiation sickness, I don't know where it came from.
I mean, maybe he shouldn't have gone to Russia.
Right.
Yeah, but
Right.
But no, like he would even ask, like some of the questions he asked was kind of like, ooh, and the way he asked, like,
I'm gonna watch it tonight. You got me. This is gonna be my Friday night.
Yeah, it's.
I'm gonna post up with Putin and fuck Tucker Carlson.
Putin and Carlson.
And here's another thing. How did Tucker Carlson approach the idea of even being able to sit down with Putin?
Producer.
Who did he talk to?
He talked to somebody.
And then on the flip side of that, Putin had to go, okay, I either know who this motherfucker is, or let me watch some recent shit and go, okay, I'm gonna let him interview me.
And then he watches the guy with the Obama interview.
That's what made him do it.
That's right.
Or he watched the one where Tucker was saying the rap lyrics and was like, let's sit down with this guy.
I'll entertain this guy.
It's also wild too, while we're on this, is that Putin, I saw his video, like he likes American shit. Like he likes hip hop, he likes game shows. I swear, it's like, yo, just bring him over here and let him kick it.
Well, see, even in the interview, what he was saying was it seemed like one of the biggest pieces was the NATO agreement. The fact that Russia's not in NATO, and they apparently it's like been told to Putin, like, no,
Right.
we can't make that. Like he even said he talked to Bill Clinton at one point and was like, how could we, possibly, it's almost like he's left out of the club.
He is.
Yeah, he is. And so was one of the pieces or one of the things where they even asked him, when's the last time you talked to, Biden? He's like, I don't remember. Tucker Carlson's like, you don't remember, Tucker, you don't remember when you spoke to the president?
Yeah.
He's like, well, there's no reason. Like, basically, he was like, there's no reason to talk. Like, you keep sending billions of dollars to the people I'm fighting, and you don't
And that's the problem.
Me. So, like, obviously there's a issue, and apparently we've been building bases over there
around
Ukraine
them.
And
yeah.
So he's a little,
It's wild because I had never understood the theory of not talking to a motherfucker.
Yeah.
You a president, he's a leader. I'm gonna talk shit about you, but I'm not gonna make an attempt to communicate.
Right.
And especially when we all got nukes, we can all kill each other.
Yeah.
Why not just have an open line of dialogue? And that could solve 80% of the miscommunication going on,
Yeah.
But I understand the idea of America doesn't talk to dictators and all that, but fuck all that.
But see, there lies our issue. I think that was one of the things, like you said, but that was one of the pieces with, as much as people hate Trump wanted a deal for everything. Everything can't have a deal.
Right.
That's, you know what I mean? When it comes to people's lives, when it comes to civilization, you can't always just have a deal. But there do need to be deals for certain things.
Yeah.
And I think the issue we're probably having now more so than anything is really our current regime can't really sit down and talk to Putin because they can't.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's like you can't go send Kamala, and you can't go send some support to go talk to. It has to be
leader to leader,
and
But we could, if Biden was just like. By the way, I don't want to be Biden bashing. Fuck Trump and fuck all that.
Old man.
He's old.
There needs to be. My question is, who?
I was really hoping, and I think he's planting the seeds. Gavin,
that's what
is planting the seeds. He went and met with
the Clintons.
But he met with homeboy in China.
Yeah.
He met with him.
Yeah,
I'm not going to butcher his name.
I'm gonna Google that.
Yeah, Google up the leader of China. He met with him like end of last year, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need an injection of
Xi Jinping.
Copy that.
Yes,
Gavin met with him. We need an injection of new leadership plus another generation.
Mm-hmm.
To be involved, because we've been dealing with with archaic, old school thinking, Eurocentric mindset,
and we need age limits. Because I think that's the only way to keep new blood, new things. Even in they're different worlds, but even in a creative space, that's what keeps things moving.
Yeah,
you get young blood that has great ideas, but doesn't usually quite know how to execute it the same way as somebody who's been doing it for years. But they don't usually have the ideas of the young blood. But when they do work together, they work together seamlessly. Yeah, and I think it could be the same thing. People who have fought in wars and have seen things and know where things could go, but also someone who's budding and can understand what's going on contextually now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's ego that's not allowing the current administration to step aside.
Yes,
and let a fresh a fresh injection of what we need to get everybody galvanized.
Yeah,
it's the same thing on the other side, except for this motherfucker got like 90 felony counts against him, and they still rocking with him, which is crazy. That's a whole and let's not even mention the insurrection and people killed that day.
It's because his fan base. They're playing it wrong. If you want to get rid of him, you can't keep hitting them with no pun intended trumped up charges. Like some of the charges, sure, but they're throwing everything but the kitchen sink at him, which then makes his fan base go, what do you mean?
Yeah,
y'all just making up shit. So then I'm gonna look past the 20 things he did do,
right? To
be like, I know he didn't do this. Like, I'm sure you saw the thing like Mar-a-Lago. They said he over-evaluated it and they put it at like $18 million. It's like, ain't no way, no damn Mar-a-Lago, no $18 million, y'all. Like, come on, like
if he was a brother, he'd have been gone.
Oh, well, that's a whole different. Yeah,
they tried to.
He would have been gone before he started.
Crucify Obama for a tan suit.
Yeah.
So for wearing a suit to a.
Yo, he wore one tan suit.
They lit his ass up.
Again.
They lit. Fox News was like, impeach this motherfucker right now. He got a tan suit on at the World Leadership.
While he's going to a church on the south side of Chicago. What the hell is going on here?
Yeah, it's a wild game, man. But I look, when I do what I do and I take my kids to school or I'm writing or whatever, I'm staying focused in my world, man. I can only control what I can control.
And that is the way to be.
The idea of being enraged and succumbing to the problems of the world, I gotta let God handle that.
Mm-hmm.
The world's been crazy for years. We can't use that as an excuse.
It used to be way crazier too.
Yeah,
this is very mild compared to how it was 1,000 years ago.
and we weren't all connected. We're all connected in a crazy way now.
Yeah.
So you could do some wild shit, but we're gonna see it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like what I do and all I can do is control, and not even control it, just focus on my world, my business, my family.
Well, if you make, that's like, as cliche as it sounds, if you make your bubble, your square of the world better, that makes the rest better, because that it carries over. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that actually does carry over to the next person and the people in your life. And we wouldn't have so many issues if more people were just more accountable for what they were doing and try to be better people and work hard. We would have fewer issues because we can only start with ourselves. That's what you must do. If you make yourself better first, things are because even as you get better, and I'm sure you've seen this throughout your life and career, as you get better, things that don't get better with you or that don't rise with you, well, I gotta move on.
Yes.
And because I'm getting better. And
yes.
And that's my point. And sometimes that's that kick in the ass, that relative, that friend or whoever needs, they go, oh, damn, I'm going to start. But it carries over.
Yes.
You know? So.
Or you go back to where you came from and they still stuck where they were when you left.
Yeah.
You know, so it's always continuous growth and always continuous inspiration to try to get better.
Yeah.
You know, and to move forward and to do new things. So that's, you know, for me, man, it's like I still watch movies by myself. We don't got to go to the theater. We can stream them, whatever. A lot of my content lives in streaming. You know, I'm still inspired to get a blockbuster that's in the theater. You know, in one way, streaming has helped because it's given opportunities for us to make movies. Right. I believe if there wasn't streaming, I wouldn't have had an opportunity because Blumhouse, when they gave me my movie, they had a deal with Netflix. They had other deals to fulfill. They needed content. But on the other hand, like we were saying in the beginning, these black movies we used to have, that would hit the theater, that would make money, it's kind of choked those out for theatricals.
100%.
And so I'm still aiming for my blockbuster to hit the theater, you know, on that 3,000 screen, you know, posters everywhere movement. I think I got the product for that now. You know, I took the time during the strikes and coming out of COVID to create a comic book company and create IP. Okay. Yeah, so I'm about to drop my first comic book, The Storm Clan.
Universe.
Yeah. I created a couple titles. My first one, The Storm Clan, we're going to go to studios in a couple weeks. Fire. I'm going to do a big announcement on it in about a week or so with one of the trades. And that's evolvement. That's growth. I was like, okay, we writing scripts. Okay, IP is valuable now. Let me create some IP. And let me not just be halfway with it. Let me really evaluate what I was working on and creating anyway. And what can I turn into a comic book? Right. What can I do that was a script already that I can, you know, I invested in myself. I took 25 G's and was like, let me make 4 issues of a comic book. You know, let me do some homework in this world. We can always grow. 100%. So, you know, now I can make a comic book because I know the writers. I'm the writer, but I know how to get the little bubbles, the writing in there. I know how to get the artist. I know what it means to get the whole like page square count where each little frame, each frame is money. So you usually want like 4 or 5 frames a page. Each frame is like $100, whatever. So I've learned that side of it. So that was a skill set I didn't have 2-3 years ago. Partnered up with a comic book cat, Joe Casey, who's big in Marvel and DC, and was like, I want to put my money up, put me on the game. Here's what I want to do. And that's sometimes what you got to do, man. Continue to grow. And if you don't know, go find somebody.
Hell yeah.
You know,
we're in the age of technology. If you want to know in today's times, you can figure it out.
You got YouTube.
Thank you. Yeah, man. I didn't even know all this stuff. Obviously, but I'm thoroughly impressed. I mean, you really you see the angles before that. You go, okay, I'm not okay with just being one piece of the puzzle. And I respect that. As you know, we were just talking about like looking at all my music stuff out there. Like, I'm the same way. It's like,
we're
that's
artists.
Cool. Yeah, you're an artist in the whole sense of it. It's not just producing. It's not just directing. It's not just writing. It's not just like you want to bring a project together.
We're creators.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. People ask me, well, why don't you write on a TV show? I'm writing my own TV shows.
Thank you.
Why aren't you directing TV? Like, you can be a journeyman and directing TV, different episodes. I don't want to be a cog in somebody else's wheel. I don't want to hop from, look, when I maybe get 70, I can go from CSI to whatever, Charlie's Angels remake #5, go to MacGyver. I'll direct these different TV shows. I'm 70, whatever. But right now, we go create our own stuff. And I'll direct on my own stuff. And that might take a little bit more time. It might not be as lucrative up front as being on somebody's show as a staff writer or whatever. But I'd rather, the ones that make a difference and leave a mark are the ones that create their own art, are the ones that create their own content.
100%.
And that's where I am, because who did I grow up watching? Disney, Keenan Ivory Wayans, Spike Lee, Robert Townsend, all these cats that were creating their own stuff before it was content creators.
Yeah. Before it was that accessible.
Exactly. Yeah. Spielberg, the most successful content creator, because these guys were writers.
Yeah. And
that's where, if you can write, doesn't cost any money. You could get a pen and a pad and start writing your movie idea down. It's a low-tech gig.
Facts.
And you can start your journey. Get you some final draft screenwriting program. Just start playing around, telling a story. But these are ways that you start to get your art out, and you start to be able to control your destiny of being a creator.
And that's honestly, that's the biggest piece to it. You can control your destiny, and you can still be the artist, or still be what you're setting out to be. That one of the worst things is, you want to be an actor, someone has to pick you to act. But not if you're not if you're making your own project.
Absolutely.
And to me, that's the number one takeaway, even doing this for almost 30 years. It's like, nah, but when you have your own, or when you can create your own, and when you can take the things you've learned from over here, that's all they're doing. They just have more money.
Absolutely.
That's it.
And now we have the advantage of technology. But I tell this to all actors: write. Yeah. Expand your world. Because being an actor is just being chosen for some random ass shit.
Literally. No.
It could be, well, his eyes were blue.
Facts.
What? I came in there and killed that. Yeah, you did, but we needed somebody with a mustache. The fuck is you saying?
Facts.
Right?
Facts.
I came in there. They told me I had the part. Yeah, but his uncle is an actor, and he promised him the part.
Yeah.
There's no control.
He's great, but he got 5 million on Instagram. Sorry.
Hey, boom. So, but you can control writing. You can control being a storyteller. You can control saying, I'm writing this for myself, like Stallone did in Rocky. Nobody else can star in this but me, because I wrote it. You can't take it away from me.
But I know the script bulletproof, so.
Exactly.
Slides across table.
When I got the opportunity to direct my first movie for Blumhouse, they were like, you want to direct this? And I went and talked to Singleton. And Singleton was like, what? I'm like, bro, I mean, should I? He's like, wait, you've been following me around for how many weeks? We got a TV show. You watching all these different directors? Bro, go do it. Right. The worst case is you make a bad movie. There's a lot of those.
Facts.
Best case, you make a decent movie and you get to make another movie and you get them their money back. But he's like, bet on yourself. And I was like, boom, you're right. And he said, treat everybody on the set equally. Boom, got it. But bet on yourself always. That's what I was like. Okay, bet. And I had to step into that with confidence. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go make this movie. They're giving me an opportunity. They're not giving me a lot of money, but I'm gonna go make the best of this opportunity. Because at the end of the day, I should be directing this movie. I wrote it.
Right. You saw it before anybody else.
I know it better than anybody.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I think makes people like directing and all this seems like a big mystery or a far off dream. No, it's just about knowing that material better than anybody else.
Right.
I know what he should wear. I know what he eats. I know what's going on when he gets home. His mama's watching TV, drinking vodka.
Right.
If you know that thing, and you don't gotta, I mean, look, people gonna come ask you questions. What shoes does he have on? Whatever. He's got on Chuck Taylors, I guess. You know, it's like you were gonna wing some things, and that's the same thing Tarantino said when he made Reservoir Dogs. He knew that script better than anybody else.
Right.
So he was like, I'm directing this. That's the path that we have to be on as a people.
100%.
We are going to take control of what we do. Don't let the world control your destiny. And that's why I tell actors, as I said, you got to write, you got to create. Otherwise, you just a hoe and you in the pimp's game.
You're another pawn.
Yeah. You just, hey, hoe.
Yeah.
Go over here.
Go over here. Stand there.
Yeah, stand there. Where's my money? That's the agent. Where's my money?
Facts.
So let's keep dreaming, bro.
Let's keep dreaming. Man, thank you so much. This was incredible.
Appreciate it.
We shook up the world with this one.
Yeah, man.
At least
and when we get on, can you share screens with me? I'm still wondering how they do that. Like his screen is sharing it, his screen sharing it. You'll give me the tutorial on that.
Which one?
When you see, like, okay, let's say it's your show or a clip from your show, and then it's also the guest, and it's shared. So like it's on the guest's page.
Oh yeah.
And it's on your page.
Collab post. Yes.
That's what that. Okay.
That's what we.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna do that.
We're gonna do that.
Yeah, I don't know that yet. See, we learning right now.
Hey, look, I'm scared to teach you anything. I know where you gonna take it,
bro. I'll be like, hey, I came back on how to monetize
I got
this
my
show.
own Instagram. Instagrams was hot, right? I got my own platform. Yo, thank you so much, bro.
Absolutely, brother.
And we out.
We out. Peace. Peace.